Welcome back to the Blue Collar Off-Road Podcast, episode 216. I'm Graham. I'm here with Luke and Cody. Richie's back on night shift for an undetermined amount of time. And we're just doing a plain and simple episode. Just a couple of us.
Quick little bit of catch up, getting the boys back together type of thing. No?
Yeah.
Three-quarters the boys.
Three-quarters of the boys, yeah. Poor Richie. I think he's only on this schedule for like two weeks or something, right?
Yeah.
So he'll be back. It won't be like the 6 months of no Richie. I think he needed that though, because he starts talking a lot more once he hasn't had a chance to talk at all.
I know. We got to just kick him off for 2 months, then have him back on.
It has been fucking cool, and like he's been hitting me up and calling me about the Comanche and sending me Snapchat videos and Instagram stuff of him fucking around with it, and I'm like, hell yeah, dude. It's nice to see you back out and about with it.
Hell yeah, that is good to see. Love it.
Maybe someday.
Maybe someday what? What was that, Grim? Huh?
Nothing.
All right,
Nothing.
I just couldn't. Sorry. All right. Gosh, I understand. No, but yeah, hopefully soon things will get the ball rolling when there's less snow on the ground and when I don't have to work as much for sure.
Hey, you got to be rolling in it with the snow.
Yeah, fuck that. That just sounds miserable. I'm good.
No, I mean money because you're working so many hours.
Yeah, I mean it's okay. I mean it's just life. Bills like to suck money, but other than that, just life. But yeah, it's good. I started it the other day. Still runs great. Still runs mint. Did a little burnout in the snow. That was fun. Other than that, hasn't moved. Life's been pretty casual. We've been having a fuck ton of snow. That was hilarious. My sister stopped by and then parked in front and then literally couldn't move because she still has a open rear end in the fucking Jeep. So all of a sudden I'm like sitting in my room and all I hear is just like a tire spinning and the throttle going. I look out and she just forwards a little bit, backwards a little bit, forwards a little bit, backwards a little bit. It's the funniest thing.
Yeah, it was that one day. Was it Tuesday or whenever? No, it wasn't. It must have been Sunday.
Monday morning. Was that's when that situation happened, was Monday morning.
Oh, I'm just talking, I guess maybe probably the past several days, but I had to go like shovel and move stuff out. I don't even remember which day it was at this point. It must have been Monday night. And I was Monday midday because it was President's Day, so we didn't have work or all that stuff wasn't happening. And I could not get Alexis's car out of the ice. It was just stuck.
Oh no.
There was nothing blocking it, nothing inhibiting it. It was flat. It was completely flat. But the front tires just could not grab anything.
Well, especially because I think most front wheel drive cars are open too. So like you just get, or pardon me, they're open transmissions. I don't know if you could call them differentials or whatever in the front.
It's a differential. It's got a ring gear.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, my Jetta was like that. Like if it snowed, it went nowhere because it would just spin.
Yeah,
like,
that's what was happening. It just wouldn't do anything.
That's how
J20 idled right out. It's been crushing the little bit of snow and ice that we've had so far. So,
well, to be fair, the Razors are not bad snow tires, so it kind of makes sense that thing's actually doing pretty damn well.
They're not great snow tires either, though.
But they're also big and stupid.
Yeah, well, so that can be a help and a hindrance.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of surface area that doesn't pack full of snow, so it just slides. I mean, when I don't have traction, it has zero traction. I will literally just sit there in gear and it will like move the wheel and nothing will happen. But if I do have traction, it'll go. So I don't know. It's a fine line, and I've drifted over the. I think I talked about this before. Over the bridge to 57, over the river. That on ramp from Springfield. Like right where it goes over 91. I was going like 30 or something, and I just turned normally. I didn't think anything of it, and then all of a sudden I'm drifting the corner, and I'm like, okay, this is not the place. Not a good drifting spot. But okay, and it got traction again, but just lost it out of nowhere. It wasn't even like there wasn't really ice on the ground either. It must have been there, but you couldn't see it. So I don't know. It's been doing okay. It's a little cold. It doesn't have great like heat. It can't hold heat very well. The transmission tunnel is an open hole. The windows don't really hold air. The seals are all rotten.
It's like it's an 80s truck that you're daily driving without restoring the interior on.
Yeah, and the airbox is like half open, so it's all like the engine bay air that just gets sucked in through the heater core or not, and then just comes in as well.
That just sounds terrible, Graham.
It's not ideal. The airbox is just a shitty design. I know what I need to do to fix it, but I don't know if it's
print a
worth
new
it.
one.
Yeah, pretty much. Because it's like that fiberglass crap that all the clips are breaking off, and you can't put a new one on. There's nowhere to put the clip.
Rip.
Oof. Yeah, that does sound like a pain in the balls.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. But yeah, so that's good to know, though. I mean, maybe just throw the IROX on the shit box, and maybe it'll do better. I don't know.
You?
No, and yours. You have a set of IROX, and if you're...
No, I don't.
Wait, what happened? Wait. Oh
sold the
my god, I
IROX.
forgot about that. Holy shit. Oh my god, that was... When the hell did you do that again? What did you trade for him?
Ages ago.
You traded
Welder.
something for him, right? The welder. You're right. To Ryan's buddy there. Josh. Yes. Sorry. Done a little bit. My brain's a little broken at the moment.
Yeah, we traded. So I don't have them anymore. I don't know if IROX are decent, like deep snow tires. I don't know about.
I don't know if they're
run
good
them.
on the road.
I don't know if I'd run. I mean, they are round. They go down the road, but
I didn't
comfortable?
mean
Probably
like
not.
that. I meant in the snow. I
No.
imagine that they'd be pretty floaty.
I'm trying to think if I drove my shit box that. No, I did not. I did not drive it the day of snow wheeling with them. Yeah, I feel like, yeah, you're right. Unlike that 1 inch, I feel like no mud tire does good, but I bet they do fucking terrible.
Yeah. No, I mean and most mud terrain tires don't do good in like just a little bit of snow. Like if you wake up in the morning and there's been like half an inch of snow, like, and you're welded, yeah, good luck. You'll be just forever fishtailing the entire way to your destination.
Yeah, my shitbox wasn't that terrible on the Nittos with the welded rear axle.
I'm not saying it's not doable. It's just a pain.
I think
It wasn't even that bad. Like, it was just driving it in the snow. It was kind of just be a little gentle with your commands. You didn't want to, like, try and, make a major correction or anything well on the gas, and that was just kind of it. It was predictable.
Speaking of that, do you want to hear a funny story
Predictable is-
about...
Okay, sorry, continue.
No, you're good. You're good.
Predictable doesn't mean good.
No, but it's manageable when it's predictable.
No.
Yeah, because
I can predict that it's gonna not do what I want it to do. I don't know.
So the thing I would do is just like if it was snowing and I was driving the shitbox, just let out of the gas if I had a tight corner to go around, and like I ended up slowing down a little bit, but whatever, and then fucking just get back at it. Or if I was in 4-wheel drive, it didn't matter. And like if I was in 4-wheel drive in the snow, well, it's
well, that's where it
shitbox
gets
on
sketchy.
40s.
Is if you have to drive in the snow, and you're in a shitbox Jeep that doesn't drive well in the snow, despite old 2000s, early 90s shitbox Jeep, which contrary to popular belief, they do garbage in like baby's first snow. They don't do good in that. That's like they're so torquey. They just anybody who's driven one knows they're just not that great in the snow in 2-wheel drive.
Yeah, they're terrible.
So you have
actually?
Yeah,
no awful.
Really?
They're way too light in the back.
No,
it's almost worse than a truck.
To be honest, to be very honest with you, I don't think I've ever really had an issue with mine with 2-wheel drive, even with it locked in the rear or open.
I would rather drive many things other than a stock Cherokee in the snow with 2-wheel drive.
Okay, so stock or stock open rear end? Because like that's two totally different things, right? Because the stock, like weird fucking
stock open rear end
pattern, But like the shitty tires that they came on, yeah, no, I wouldn't. Especially if it's nowadays and it's still on the stock tires. Like, oh god, that thing's fucking shot. But
I mean, a mud terrain is that much better? I don't know. I mean, maybe this is a hot take, but I hate the way Cherokees and TJs and all those things drive in the snow. I've heard of more people doing like spin outs in a TJ because the short wheelbase on the highway in the snow.
I would agree with like a TJ. I'm not gonna agree with an XJ on like decent tires. I had the Goodyear Wrangler radials on my 97. Now this is going way back because if I'm being honest, after that Jeep, like nothing I've owned has been on the road continuously all winter long. Other than like the daily driver trucks. So that was on just 235 Goodyear Wrangler radials, and that thing was an animal in the snow. It would just go wherever, click it into 4-wheel drive to get it moving, and it was happy in 2-wheel drive. It was, I think, just the tires, and those are just cheap, kind of like okay ATs.
Yeah, maybe that's the ticket then, is having a solid all-terrain tire. Or
yes, yeah. 100%.
I don't think I ever had that on my stock or close to stock Cherokee. So it was always like, if I was doing anything in the snow, it was in 4-wheel drive, and if you weren't in 4-wheel drive, it was gonna be awful.
So then you've always had mud terrains, right?
Yeah, and to some extent, not in the Cherokee. Yes.
Because, like, I mean, your Duck Commanders probably wouldn't have been bad, right?
No, those things are fucking. They're not.
Oh, really? Oh shit! Because I had a set of I think they were Destination. They were either Firestone ATs or Destination ATs on my black Cherokee back when it was on 3.5. And I mean, I used to
though.
Yeah,
I with the Duck Commanders with the plow on the thing, and like it had traction. It didn't it wasn't all over the place. So yeah, I guess they were okay.
But speaking of plowing, you want to hear my horror story that I had Saturday? It's super quick. It's not anything crazy. But yeah, so we go in for 10, right? Actually, 9, pardon me. We went in for 9, didn't start plowing until 12. I hop in my truck. I start driving there. Okay, so I don't have my truck currently because my truck is a PTO truck. PTO started fucking dumping fluid on Thursday. So that's at the shop. So my normal, which is just a Dodge 5500 flatbed with a Salter on the back, right? Thing's a fucking animal. Absolutely love that truck. I get in some like Ford F350 dump body with a concrete block in the back. I start plowing, and the fucking plow's broken because it's the blade is flipped. It's like the blade that actually like touches the ground.
Yeah, the cutting edge
backwards.
No, so the springs were broken or something, and because normally they're only supposed to flip back when you hit like a manhole cover or a pothole, like crack in the road, like. But this, it was just flipped down. So like it was just pushing the snow, but it wasn't actually scraping it. So I call and not to mention when it was on the ground, normally you want to be able to turn your plow as you turn the truck, right? Because it changes the direction. Wouldn't fucking turn. I call the boss man, and I'm like, dude, you better give me a new truck or I'm fucking going home. I was like, I don't give a fuck. I was like, I need a truck that actually plows. He was like, oh, well, you're gonna have to take one of the maintenance trucks. And I'm like, oh, that's great, because those are just F250s. And now, luckily, at this point in time, it was still light, when it was like 12, 2 in the morning-ish time frame. So we start doing our route. 3 o'clock comes around, and he's like, oh, yeah, stop doing your routes. We're going to wait. What? What do you mean we're going to fucking wait? So we wait for the rain to come. Well, guess what? Now it's 4 inches of snow filled with water that we have to push, and now I'm in an F250. This thing is the biggest pile of dog shit now, because I'm going along, cruising. All of a sudden, you start pushing just a little bit too much snow. Thing just starts bucking like a fucking old 7.3 on leaf springs, just fucking. And now I'm stuck in the middle of the fucking neighborhoods with this massive pile of snow with a pile of shit truck, and it sucked. I had to deal with that the whole time, and that sucked. So yeah, lesson learned. Fucking F250 for plowing snow. Yep. But we made it happen. Yeah,
dude, so that sounds terrible.
The storm was a weird storm.
Yeah, it was.
It was really weird.
It was weird, and then like once like 3 p.m. hit on Sunday, and like I was just pushing puddles. I literally called my boss. I'm like, "What is the point of this, man?" I'm like, "If it's ice, we can't scrape it anyways, and then the rest of it's just water. Like, why are we here right now?" And we ended up ending it there. But yeah, it was the very odd storm. The time frame was super weird. If it was snow the whole time, though, holy fuck, we would have been buried.
Yeah,
it would have
been
been
a shitload
so
of
much
snow.
snow.
But the
I'm jealous.
weird thing
I
was,
feel like a shitload of snow is better than what you got, though.
Yeah.
So at least that's
100%.
like manageable.
yeah, this is for. I mean, they've got so much calcium chloride or whatever the fuck that shit is on the road right now. I can basically watch the J20 melt away.
In real
But-
time.
Yeah, literally, it's like you said, it was like 4 inches of snow, and then it just turned to rain, just straight up rain. But it was still cold.
That's
It was like
fucking-
right on the cusp.
That sounds like
Yeah.
so down
Like
here.
literally, it was raining, and then you like the snow just had like this like crust, like a couple inches of crust, which was just this waterlogged like ice snow thing, and it rained and then refroze, and then it was done, and it's just been cold ever since. So it hasn't gone away. It's still floating around. Like our driveways, it was better today. Actually, the sun was warming stuff up, but like it's without salt or the rusty chemicals, or it's would be a nightmare.
Yeah, and the fun part is actually all of the normal suppliers for salt around here are completely gone through. So now we're having to order all the way from upstate New York to get our
fun.
fucking salt. Yeah, it's
Jesus
insane.
Christ.
Yeah, it's a good time. Good time.
So what?
But,
Do they just put it in a dump truck and ship it up?
No, so they do a dump triaxle. So it's like a big fucking load. I think it's upwards of like 100 yards. It's a fuck ton of salt. But we run, dude. You could run through 100 yards of salt in like I don't know, give it 3 hours with how that that storm went into Monday. Like Monday, I know that they
Yeah.
used a metric fuck ton of salt because it was the only thing breaking up the ice. Otherwise, like, oh my god, Springfield, whew,
I'm sure that
terrible.
was
Holy shit! Like we thought where I work was bad. I don't know. Have I ever said? I guess it doesn't really matter. I work in Long Meadow. I don't know if I've ever aired where I actually what town I actually work for.
doxed.
What?
Yeah, you just
Doxed.
doxed yourself.
I'm not
Congrats.
fucking worried about it. Either way,
You also have
we
like.
thought. What's up?
Sorry,
No, you're okay.
I was
What's up?
gonna say your take or like a lot of your takes are not that spicy.
Yeah, I'm pretty
like-
PC if you're if we're being honest. Except for hopefully one of the people at the library, I was talking with these different directors there and ended up coming up in conversation. So hopefully they're not listening, or shout out. But anyways, turned into this whole thing and they were like, podcast, because they asked my Instagram or something and then just followed the cookie trail and I'm like,
Yeah.
why am I fucking here right now?
I don't know why you did that to yourself. There's a reason that.
Okay,
I'm
well,
just
because-
chicken wing.
Because one of them is cute. All right. So like we're just shooting the shit. All right, what do you want me to do? She was asking me what my Instagram was. I was like, hey, here you go. And the next second,
I was
they're
talking
starting to-
about the fucking Instagram name.
yeah. Well, it's not even necessarily the name. It's that the link tree for us is in the goddamn bio. So it was very quick and easy to, and then also all the tag posts and shit. And yeah, it turned into this whole thing. And anyways, they started playing the podcast in the library, and I'm like, we probably
Oh, no.
shouldn't do
Oh,
that.
no.
And then now they're
No.
like, oh, why is that? And I was like, oh, we just swear. Like we swear without really giving a fuck. Like it's just not really library appropriate, if I'm being honest. Like listen to it on
We are
your own
not
time,
library
sure.
rated.
Go request that they put the Blue Collar Off Road podcast on at your
Oh, no.
local library
Please, no, please,
for
for the love
everyone's
of
listening
everything.
pleasure.
God, that just sounds terrible. Give them an audiobook of the podcast. Here you go. This will be really good. But what was I saying before? Da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh, well, yeah.
Shitty
So either way,
Springfield.
so we thought that we did terrible, right? We I genuinely I was looking at some of the roads that I was responsible of plowing, and thank you, Luke. But yeah, and I was just like I was like, oh, we did such a terrible job. Like I was mad at myself. Like I really do hate doing a bad job when it comes to plowing. And then you drive down Springfield or East Long Meadow, and you're like, what? Who did anything here? This is fucking terrible. Like, It's so bad.
Springfield is always bad.
Yeah,
Always bad. Like
it's a massive city,
Sumner, Sumner, they'll do one side, and then the other side is just like, well, you're fucked. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, that's usually because it's traffic patterns, right? So it's always westbound that is worse than eastbound because when people are heading to work westbound, but nobody's heading home usually when the snow starts.
Mm-hmm.
So when people are driving on it, you tend to get a worse.
Yeah, but this is just like straight up like there's just hasn't been a plow down it. It wasn't like a necessarily like, oh well, there's just cars driving on it and it's packed in now. It's like, no, this is just like fluffy snow that's on the road because they haven't driven down this side of it.
Oh my
At least
God,
that's my take. Having dealt with that a couple times. Yeah, fucked Sumner. I hate that road. I'm so glad I don't have to drive
Parker
down it.
is way worse than Sumner.
I've never had to drive down that one, so I
yes,
don't care.
you do. You literally drive that every single time you come back from the shop. You know where Wings Over is? That's Parker.
I don't take that way anymore. I'm in Feeding Hills now.
I know, but beforehand you used to take it all the time. What?
I don't know. I never dealt with that. It was never a problem.
I know, just the road in general. It's just,
oh, that road is garbage. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
both directions. Really, there was no way to get to my apartment without a road that just made you want to kill yourself. So yeah,
it does. That's a good point. Actually, that's a great point.
All of those roads were trash. There's no escaping the shittiness of Springfield roads from my apartment. But Sumner was awful. It's like you want to go anywhere, you got to take 20 minutes out of your day, go drive through Sumner and hope somebody doesn't crash into you.
Yeah. Good times. But yeah, so yeah, that storm was absolute ass. And I'm happy that I'm through it. And hopefully there's not another snowstorm. Or hopefully there is.
I'm done. I'm done with snowstorms. I don't want any more.
We got one today.
No, I just want weekdays. Wait. I totally misheard you. You had snow?
Yes.
The
second time. No, second time this year. And last time it came down, it actually stuck. This time it came down and it turned to rain and then back into snow. And it's about to freeze over. It's going to be a great morning tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a baby's version of your little snow event going on down here. It's cool.
Except for, don't you guys, Tennessee's probably kind of equipped, right?
No.
And didn't you guys just have a I don't even know if I can say the word, but a thing in a nightclub, right? In your town, right? In your town.
You know,
I think
I'm going to be honest, Cody. I don't know anything that's been going on about anything because I have been so consumed with everything truck related that's been going on. Yeah. And I haven't looked at the news. It hasn't been brought up at work, so if anything has happened, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, the security guard took care of it, put the guy down. So
that
W
does
illegal
not
owners,
surprise me.
Plus one for the good guys? Yes.
The amount of people that carry around here is just fucking astounding.
Oh yeah, I feel like you'd be more likely to find, or less, I don't know. I feel like there's more guys carrying than dog owners, and that's probably a tough, close one.
I'm gonna imagine a lot of the dog owners are also carrying. So fucking
dog in one hand, concealed in the other, just ready to go. Whichever's closer. But
yeah, it's I don't know what's going on with that. I'm just gonna talk about the fucking shitbag weather we're having, and then the old shitbox Cummins parts have finally started showing up. So tomorrow I probably won't be getting any parts because of our mini version of a snowpocalypse with some ice and shit. They closed the school down. They're probably going to close the school down again on Friday, so the kids are going to end up having gone for Tuesday, because wasn't Monday President's Day?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
So yeah, by the way, listeners, hi from the future, or the past, I mean, whatever it is. We're back to a week delay. So yeah, Yeah, they're going to be off. They went to school yesterday, then they were off today for the snow. They're going to be off tomorrow, and if I had to venture a guess, they're probably going to be off Friday, and they'll go back on Monday. So they got like a single day of school this week, thanks to the, like one little snowstorm. Yeah, that should tell you how well prepared Tennessee is. If the buildings get too
Why are you
cold,
so
they
worried about
send
how many
kids.
days those kids are going to school? They don't need to know how to read.
I'm not really worried about that. I
They
just
just have
know
to
about
learn.
that because of Morgan. She does the whole like
Oh,
after-school
that makes
thing,
sense.
so
I
I
was like-
know every time because she'll
That's
just
funny.
text me that I'm staying home, and it'd be like that. So
I do find it funny that Graham just thought you were being a boomer caring about kids going to school.
Why do you care so much?
no, I'm
Gives a shit?
engaged to someone that works in the school system. So
Yes,
it's
that makes sense.
yeah. So, anyways, Shitbox Cummins parts are showing up by the fucking fill the entire spare room up. Like, there's no free floor space. There's a new gun build, ammunition, and then just a floor full of Cummins parts. Because when they ship you the head gasket kit from Malhi, it comes in this massive ass fucking box. And I'm not going to take it out of the box until, like, right before I go to start assembling shit, except for to make sure it's right. I don't want to fuck any of that shit up. So yeah, I'm excited.
What are you all doing? I know you blew the head gasket, and I know how projects go when you have just one issue to fix on a motor.
Yep, it's getting the full Malhi head gasket kit, like regasketing the top of the engine. And then because I'm going to be in there, and I'm going to have the fuel system disconnected, I'm going to replace the lift pump because it has an OEM lift pump. I'm going to replace the injectors because they have 270,000 miles, and I'm putting the Quadzilla tuner in it. So I just went with one of the cheap Quadzilla, like tow economy and like performance tune ones because I don't really care that much. It's not going to be that fast anyway. It is a 24 valve. If I'm lucky, I might see like realistically here 400 horsepower if I let the boost go. I'm not even doing the turbo that weekend. I'm gonna wait until I've got the money to pay to get the exhaust done, and I'm gonna do the turbo, the exhaust, and all that just on another long weekend. So I can drop the truck off, get a ride to work Monday and Tuesday, and then.
Why would you pay someone to do the exhaust on a Cummins?
Because
it's just straight.
It's pretty damn cheap. It ends up being like $100 more than the materials, and I don't have to deal with it.
Oh, that's fair. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I was gonna say though, it's just straight. Unless you have my boomer ass setup. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking with mine, but
yeah, the duals, like it makes no fucking sense.
It's like spaghetti under the fucking bed. It's like forged wide spaghetti.
I'm either gonna buy just one of the cheap $400 ones, but honestly, I'd rather just pay to have it done at the muffler shop. I think it's gonna be like $500, $600 total to have the entire thing done, and to just buy the kit is $450. So like, I'd rather just pay and not have to turn the wrench.
So fucking like for what it is, it's so fucking expensive. There's zero reason it should be so fucking expensive. I was looking at that because mine was rotting. Like the clamps were rotting off, and there was like chunks that are, just weren't great. And I was looking at exhaust, and I was like, why am I even bothering? It's going to cost me $70 just to get these 3 clamps anyways, which is, I don't know, just absurd for thin wall round tube. Like,
yep. It's retarded.
Aluminized or not, or whatever. Like, it shouldn't be $500 for a straight piece of tube cut in 2 sections.
What do you mean aluminized?
That's usually what they do, so they don't rot instantly.
Yeah, they get dipped and electroplated.
No shit. I didn't know that. I thought they was all like stainless. I had no idea.
No, stainless.
You can get stainless, and that's
expensive.
like double the price on the aluminized shit. So why would you do that?
Yeah, it's just the shit.
Because I'm dumb. Damn, dude. Sorry.
So
I mean, like, no, I mean, it would make sense. The exhaust would last longer than the body of the truck, but at that point, there's not going to be anything to.
Bro, I
The
drive a
resale
Chevy, I
value
know
on
it'll
that shit
last.
probably isn't that good. So, yeah, why bother?
the
It's
other
exhaust.
thing is, I want to get a nice muffler for it too. So fuck that other bullshit, and that's
Brother,
also
how
expensive.
fucking old are you?
The truck is like a old 24 valve. The motor itself is loud enough. Morgan's gonna have to ride in it up to Connecticut, so I don't want to hear her bitching about a straight piped Cummins for,
I can
all the way to
confirm
F&F.
they do bitch. They do bitch if it's straight piped. Mine was not intentionally straight piped, but the exhaust was broken right under the passenger seat, and I heard about that one.
Oh yeah, I'm
I
not
heard
doing
about
that.
that.
Not doing that,
mhm.
man. I'm gonna buy one of the bigger mufflers too, so that way it's actually like almost remotely quiet because the engine itself is loud enough in the cab for her to be complaining already once I go and put a larger turbo and forget to set the wastegate because it's getting studs anyway, so I'm probably just gonna, completely close the wastegate off and forget about it.
Mhm.
That thing's going to be fucking obnoxiously loud when that thing spools, and yeah, she's already gonna hate it. I don't need to make it any worse. The cool thing is, I'm thinking it's probably gonna be pushing like 35 plus pounds of boost, so that'll be cool. The
Well,
factory is like 21.
have you considered just like, getting rid of them and then you could just like have it be as loud as you want and spoolie boy all you want?
I
Sounds
just
pretty
like got
cool.
engaged to this one. She's
So
kind of cool.
so perfect. So that means when you actually marry her, you can't get rid of her that easy. So like she won't get mad about the truck. I think that's a good plan.
I've
No way
ridden
they only do.
around in 24 valves with a just like 5-inch, standard sized muffler that you'd put in there, and they're not bad. They're still loud as fuck. I will be happy with it. It already sounds like a fucking school bus. If we're gonna be brutally fucking honest, every single Cummins out there sounds like a fucking school bus.
I
The
miss
six-
listening
No,
to my
school buses
bus,
are
though.
usually Duramaxes or Cats. Okay, there's no Cummins in school buses. Pfft, nerd, you should know this.
Okay,
Even though
I'm
Cats are
sorry.
inline sixes too, so they're gonna sound similar, but it's fine.
I'm making generic, fucking boring industrial application jokes, but yes. Um,
You sound
it
like a
sounds-
generator driving down the road.
yeah, it's a fucking.
That's because
generator.
most generators that are natural gas are Cummins. Oh, actually, I have to show you a photo. In one of our schools, we have a backup generator that is. I'm not even shitting you. It is literally just a Chevy 350, like with a big ass alternator on the other side. It is sick. It's so cool.
Hell yeah, brother.
I remember walking in one day and be like, "That looks like a Chevy, like a fucking Holly car." Blah blah blah. I don't know the exact things, but like it looked like. And I'm like, wait a second, and it literally says on the side. I forget the fucking numbers, but I was just like, "That's literally a Chevy 350 block. What the fuck?" Like, so cool, so cool. The exhaust runs out the back and fucking up into like this pipe that goes out the roof. It's sick.
I have a lot of sympathy for generator engines because they just fucking fire up and go to like whatever the peak efficiency number is, and that's where they sit for their entire life.
That's
And then when
true,
they
actually. Wait a
they
second. There's
know
like no
no
warm up
peace.
period or nothing. Like,
No,
holy shit.
you start that thing up and it knows no peace for the rest of its time.
That's
Like,
funny.
I go out and I'm like really nice on a cold morning. I'll start the truck up 10 minutes beforehand so that way like I have a hope of having heat. I've got the radiator blocked off so it'll run at the right temperature. I gently, like throw it into gear, drive it like an old man until everything's warmed up because you can definitely feel in that transmission when it's warm and happy and when it's cold. And so like, nope, industrial engines right to peak. Engines in like an excavator, fire them up, and as soon as you go and you just idle it up and start pulling hydraulic psi, don't those also just spike right up?
No, so those are manual control. You can
Oh,
control
those are
the.
manual control? I thought
Yeah,
they
you
were all
can.
hydraulic based.
No, that's all like you have like an actual throttle that you
Oh,
can run up.
then I
Yeah.
was wrong on that. So I'll take my
Same
L on
idea
that.
though, because once they're warm, they just you set them there and that's what they run. Like, and they do generally raise an RPM as like load is applied, but for the most part they just chill. It's pretty sick.
Yeah. I'm just fucking excited to have the truck like actually have some new fuel system components, all of that shit before I go to head up to New England. I'm doing like 4,800 miles of towing. I know I was bitching about that last episode, but y'all weren't here for it. So, um, yeah, this year is going to be a fuck ton of driving on that truck with the Cherokee behind it.
Sick. It'll be good for it. Let it stretch its legs.
Yeah, I'm excited to run up to New England in it. I'm excited to see how much different it tows because it was not happy coming home from AOP. So, just give her like an extra 125, 150 horsepower and see what difference it
You think
makes with
yours
another.
wasn't happy? You think yours wasn't happy towing? Last 2 times I towed with the thing,
Yours
was
had to get rescued
not
the last time.
happy. Yeah, the very last time it needed to tap out because it was not happy.
Thankfully, Kish was there.
Yeah. I mean, it probably would have made it back, but it would have been not fun. It would have been 45 maximum on the highway because it just wouldn't go anymore. It forgot. My truck doesn't even know how to be a truck right now. But hopefully, without holes in the floor and with a shitload of sound deadening, it might
and right
actually
back to the
be
muffler
quiet.
point.
Yeah, it might actually be quiet. We'll see. I'm excited just to have that. Just give it a little bit more, the creature comforts, since it is something that I've spent a lot of hours in.
Yeah.
I
I
want
completely get it. I found out you can buy replacement driver seat cushions, and I am buying one.
Wait, why not just get new seats? Are they expensive or something?
Because it's the suicide door body style, so the seatbelt's built into it, and it's easier to just replace the lower seat cushion.
Yep.
Supposedly, from what I've read.
Yeah, you just pull the hog clips and pull the seat off and put the new thing in, and it's good to go.
Oh, it's rear seats? Okay, I thought you were saying front
seats.
seats. Oh, you're right. You're right. It is in the. That's interesting. What the
It's in
fuck?
the
Oh, yeah,
seat.
because
You can't.
it's on like a weird Chevy where it's up in the fucking like weird drop down pillar bullshit.
Yeah.
Nope. So I want to replace the driver's seat before I go. Like, I'm doing a bunch of quality of life shit on the truck. It's getting a new wheel bearing before it heads up to New England. It doesn't like desperately need it, but every once in a while when I'm making a hard turn towing, I can hear it just lightly like starting to make noise, and I know that that's just gonna get worse. But
last thing you want is your wheel falling off. I've been there.
yeah, I don't want my wheel falling off. Right now, the priorities are get the truck back to the point where like it's able to, be driven like a normal vehicle again, and not have to be babied back and forth to work, and then go from there.
Yeah, that's never a fun time.
And then I've got to get the trailer redone because fuck, I'm going to be putting a lot of miles on it, so I'm just going to put new bearings, brakes, every fucking thing in there. And call it a day. I've beat the fuck out of that poor trailer. It's been living at its maximum load limit for its entire life.
For literal whole life.
The only time it had it easy was when I had Ducky, because Ducky was so cut up that there just wasn't enough there to be heavy. And then when my Jeep was on 35s.
Or when you took Kish's Jeep snowwheeling that time.
Yeah, it did.
It's had a few breaks.
It's had a few breaks, but the rest of its life has been 1500s and my shitbox Cherokee and a couple of like, I'm going to strip you for parts Cherokees. But those have generally been like long drives to go and get them, at the very least across Connecticut. or Massachusetts. And then in other cases, all the way to Ohio and back for that stripper. If
You
you know
picked
what
up.
I mean.
Damn, how big was the
This is a big
on the
old
trailer,
stripper.
bro?
Not enough to meet the
damn.
tow capacity of his
That's
trailer.
a big girl, dude.
If he
I
Oh,
don't know
enough to
what's a
meet the
stock shit
trailer.
box that's absolutely rotted out way. Fucking.
she about 250.
I was thinking around 480. She
XJ's a
definitely
weird
has
nickname
80.
for a stripper, but you know it works.
It's an ugly one. Fuck.
Ugly
That-
and big. Damn. Oh no, no wonder you put her in the trailer. Oh,
With a tarp over it.
that'd be
Oh
sick.
fuck. That was fucked up.
Yeah, that happens.
Anyway,
Sorry if the librarians are listening. I'm sorry, guys.
So the plan is I'm working this weekend, so next weekend we're gonna just rip the head off and get the fuel system and the injectors, all that other fun stuff, the head gasket and studs done, and then I'm gonna save up for another probably 2-3 weeks, make sure that all is hunky dory, and I will buy the exhaust. I did buy the downpipe for the turbo and all that other fun shit, and I bought new drain lines and feed lines and yay.
Oh, you went all in on that.
Yeah, I'm waiting also because I want to buy new intercooler boots because the ones that are on the truck are factory, and I don't want to find the boost leak a million times. I'm
gonna play find the boost leak a million times. I need new clamps because I broke all of mine when I took them off. But the rubber still looks good, and I'm not spending $400-$500 on boots or whatever the going rate of those stupid things. I think it's like 300, but I don't know. It's like still more than I want to pay for rubber that I have that's probably in decent shape. So
I may not do that. I might just buy the clamps, but whatever I'm going to end up doing, I'm going to have to just make sure that everything's happy in there because it's going from like 21, 22 to wherever we end up with the wastegate.
True.
And it's studded, so like I don't even know if I really care to. I don't understand the efficiency on the turbo enough to like know if leaving the wastegate completely open is going to be bad for it, efficiency wise or not.
Only one way to find out. I have another one if you need it.
I mean,
come get it.
I'd rather ship it.
Can't you just smoke test it? Or I guess no, because sometimes it'll only show under pressure. So, I mean, can you pressure smoke test? I actually don't know that answer.
Yeah, I don't know that answer either.
But you could do a leak down test with a air compressor in a boot. You could make one without actually having to build boost to find the leaks, which will probably be easier.
Yeah. Anyways, that's a project for future me. We're not at that point. Current me is tapping out financially.
Understandable.
So
you got a wedding next year, bro. You gotta start saving.
No, I don't have a wedding next year. I've got a wedding.
Is it 2 years?
2 years.
Oh
And
shit! I
then-
thought it was next year. My apologies.
No, it's 2 years. And then I also have to go and buy a house. So like
wait for the market to crash.
I'm fucking hoping.
Maybe one day.
It's not gonna crash.
Yeah. It just sucks. That's all I'm gonna say. Things are starting to get slightly better, and once she's done with school, things will be a lot better. So we're gonna go from there as far as me and her, and when she's done with school, we're gonna do the wedding thing. But most likely, I would rather do something on the smaller side, and I'm hoping that I can convince her to do something on the smaller side. So that way we can have like a nice honeymoon, and then the bachelor party can be rowdy as fuck.
Hell yeah. Where are we going?
I don't know yet, but we'll figure that out.
Inaugural GER trip. You want to see fucked up cabins? Let's go. Oh, dude, I
Hey.
watched that Runs Prime video. Just fucking got me amped again. It was just like it brought back all the good endorphins that came from that weekend. And it was just like, man, that was a good fucking weekend. It
That
was
was a
great.
good fucking weekend. Just
Oh.
fuck. I wouldn't do it, but that would be fucking hilarious. I'd probably go somewhere like Harlan or probably just like AOP. But I really don't want to fucking do AOP.
Hey. All I'm saying is they don't know Alexis's name, and Alexis might book, the large cabin, and then we might all show up with beards this time because they only saw us with mustaches, and they'll never fucking know. Okay?
You the cease and desist or whatever.
Oh, but okay. So Nick. Okay, so. Wait, they might know our vehicles though, so we can only park down at the.
Oh, they 100% know the vehicles. They called out mine by color or whatever.
So we spray paint it gray.
Silver.
Close. Yes. Fully silver. They'll never know. And then we can change the Krylon blue. We get Rust-Oleum blue for Luke. They don't know my shipbox yet. It'll be good. It'll be good.
Dude, I'd rather just go someplace though where like I want to go to a big park if we're gonna do something like that and just fucking go exploring. And like that would almost be a good one for like Windrock. Just
Windrock,
do like 4 or 5 days at Windrock and just try and see as much of the park as possible, or like go to Leatherwood because Leatherwood's another massive park, and just try and like run everything at that size park and see how good it goes.
That'd be sick. That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I know how it's going to end up. It's going to end up like every other fucking bachelor party under the sun, where we are all nursing hangovers and going to the hard but not very far from the parking lot stuff.
Hell yeah, that'd be sick.
Yeah, I'm fucking amped for it. I'm really amped for next season. I know I've been banging on about that, but the Jeep was feeling really good and working really well at AOP despite how fucked up everything was condition-wise. It's going to be another just good year, or I'm hoping that this is going to be a good year instead of another year of shit. I can't English today, but that's normal.
Fuck yeah. Or, hear me out. Or we just go rent side by side somewhere so then we could thrash other people's shit if we really want to get rowdy. I like that idea. We all just get the insurance. The insurance will cover it when they blow them to pieces. It'll be fine. What's the issue?
Dude, I'd like to... You know what would be cool? Fucking renting out the cabins at S'more. That would be fucking dope. Get a cabin at S'more, go back there. Although that's not that big of a park.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess you wouldn't really be exploring all that much.
No.
I don't know. We can brainstorm. Come up with something. We can have a fun time. But either way, yeah, I think that'd be a really good time for a bachelor party. Just go and just have a great time with the boys, drink some fucking beers, have a good old time. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in.
And then, like, I want to go do honeymoon stuff. I want to go just do, like, exploring, but I'm going to guess that
Boys aren't invited.
Boys aren't invited, but I'm also going to guess that she's going to want to do something actually nice, so I'm going to try and see if I can play my vacation time and PTO off well enough to go do, like, a nice week-long road trip and just go drive and see what we can go find for one of them, and then the next week do, like, a cruise and come back and then just go home.
Graham, don't even talk about it, okay? We know you don't like cruises. Don't mention it. We are not having another cruise conversation, okay?
If it's on a cruise, I'm not going.
It's not going to be on a cruise, Grimbo. Don't worry about it. I've had a good time. I'd like to have another one. It was fun floating around the Bahamas, not having to worry about anything.
I heard there's a naked cruise for the Bahamas, if that suits your fancy.
I'm definitely not going on a naked cruise.
Nope, not happening.
It's just old people. It's probably just
there's
old
a lot
people.
There's a lot of fucking old people, and like I want to go do stuff away from old people while like I'm at the fucking islands and doing the exploring stuff. And I'm also probably terrible because I'm incredibly nerdy and enjoy going to like museums and state parks and shit like that over the fucking bullshit that they try and serve you for the cruise. But yeah, that's welcome to the Blue Collar Off-Road Podcast,
where we talk about barely anything off-roading related.
I
Making
mean,
cruises.
we did talk about the tow rig for at least a solid 20 minutes there, and that is like somewhat off-road related. It's hard to get the Jeep anywhere without the tow rig at this point in time because it doesn't exactly drive well anymore.
I just
Yeah.
like how you know, you and me are in the same spot. Our trucks are broken, or not. I guess mine's not broken. It's just I pulled it apart, so now it's doesn't work because I took it apart, and yours
Yeah.
is broken, so it needs to get taken apart.
Yep. And this, I'm trying to keep everything as fucking simple with this as I can. The only reason I'm putting the new lift pump on is because I'm already going to have to bleed the fucking system out, so I might as well replace something that's known to fail that I have to unbolt to get the head off.
With all my fenders and like the front section off and everything else, I was like poking and prodding at stuff that I definitely didn't need to. I was like, what are the chances these AC compressor bolts are going to loosen up? The answer is none. I twisted the head of the bolt, but I don't think it was spinning the base of the bolt. So, those aren't. So I'm just knowing what's in store for me in the future. The compressor still works, so I don't really have to take it off. Like it's not a requirement, but now I know that it's not coming off. By conventional means. I was looking at a lot of the crunchy stuff on the turbo. I looked at some of my fuel lines.
Oh,
I
yeah.
replaced my injection lines because they were rusty. They weren't gonna break, but they looked really bad. They weren't as bad as they looked, but they
How
looked
bad
really
was it
bad.
to get in there? Did you need any special tools, or did you just follow the standard like 1, 2, 3, come off first and?
Oh, I don't know. I just took the ones off that I could reach, and then I took that section off, and then I got to the back ones, and I took those
What I
off. I just
thought.
used a normal wrench. It was not fun, but it wasn't like the end of the world either. I had the whole driver fender off and everything under the sun that's in the way out of the way, so that makes it easier.
Yeah, that does. That definitely does. I was also, speaking of VPs and all the injection line stuff, I was shocked by how much cheaper VPs are now than they used to be. Like they're $1,200 for a new one. That's not bad at all.
Even that sounds like more expensive than what I've seen.
That's going through Thoroughbred and getting like one of theirs, and then I have to get something slightly specific because it's an HO.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you have the HO. That's a little more specific, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the VP stuff never really scared me that much. Like, it's a chunk of change if they go, but just don't be an idiot, and it won't.
It's a chunk of change if
go.
any injection pump goes, though. Like if you're the
And Collins
P7100
split
don't
in
go,
half.
but
Collins CP3 split in half.
I thought his
that
was a
truck is
CP4.
whatever it is, CP4, CP3.
Well, the 3s are known for lasting forever. The 4s are known for exploding.
Yeah, well his blew up.
Speaking of exploding, do y'all think plane crashes are happening more often, or are they just more likely to be on the news right now?
I think they're just more likely to be on the news because it's something people are interested in talking about.
That's what I'm thinking too. Sorry to completely derail. I was just, explosions. My
I've
bad.
got theories on that.
Do you think they're trying to drive market prices down in the airplanes?
No, I think that this is a long-term knock-on effect of the older generation of pilots getting out during the COVID era when everything crashed, and then
pun intended
the
or not?
void. No, we're getting there, and then that void had to be filled rapidly, and well, that's causing the current stock price crash that we're seeing with every fucking crash that we continue to see. And the hiring practices going forward were that of desperation and of trying to just employ people as quickly and as I'm trying to choose the words appropriately.
I think you're doing a good job. Keep going. You're
Politically
doing good.
expedient as possible as well for the replacements, and as a direct result of that happening now going on 4 or 5 years ago, you're seeing the payout.
So then, okay, I mean, I hear you, but then why? I mean, maybe. Okay, here, like, if we're talking about prestigious jobs, which I personally would call like being an airliner pilot, I feel would be pretty prestigious, right? Like you hold
Yes.
people's lives in your hands, constant, right? So then, like on the other hand, like let's say like surgeons and doctors, like why? I mean, granted, maybe it's like big pharma, like not allowing shit to be. And again, this is fucking tinfoil hat kind of
Oh
shit that
no,
I
I
just brought
love
up,
this
but
type of stuff. The only thing I have to do is I have to like hone back the initial
yeah.
fucking splurge that I want to throw out there because you know how abrasive I am.
Tism is tingling.
Yes.
But
So
now, do you why aren't we experiencing some other form of
We are.
collapse? We'll call it.
We are.
You think in a doctor's format and shit
no,
like that?
not in the doctor's format, but there is definitely across the workforce a degradation of everywhere. Like if you look at the new people that are getting brought in to fill positions that were held by experienced people that have left since COVID due to retirement, due to whatever other particular reasons, the quality of replacement people has gone down. And that's across a lot of different industries. I know that the airlines got hit pretty fucking hard with the quarantines, the flight restrictions, all of that. So it would not surprise me if they shrunk the workforce and then they're just trying to expand back up now that demand's coming back up, which is
Okay.
something that we've seen across a lot of other industries. And I'm trying to just look at this as a rational, like Occam's razor take. Add into it, like, of course, you're going to have your political melodrama bullshit, but like, you're putting policies in place where instead of trying to check boxes for competency, you're trying to check boxes for other features to get tax
Bodies.
breaks. Yeah, and so like you let the bean counters go running fucking wild with that, realizing that they can get all kinds of fucking extra grants just because they hire whoever the fuck the government says to hire in this particular administration. And that's going to go both ways. That's not a fucking knock on.
Well, that's
one
just
band or
the government has been like
Yeah.
that for a
Yeah,
long
a
time.
while,
I mean,
at least 25 years minimum.
yeah, a long time.
So, you know, the winds of change blow in opposite directions, and coming out of the pandemic, there's just been a massive reorganization that's gone incredibly terribly. Speaking like at the upper levels of management, it does not seem like the people that are in those positions of power that are filling the vacuums and moving up the ladder have the experience required to do the job, and
Why
there's
can't
been a
that
lot of
happen at my work?
nepotism.
Let me
I'm
be the
sure that
director and
they-
fuck shit up. I'm in. Sign me up. Give me the pay, boys. I'll figure it out.
I'm sure that the people that are getting hired now are not the ideal candidates, and that there are a bunch of factors that are going into the inability to
100%.
hire. And that's
Well,
what I'm
there's
talking
an issue
about
with
here.
the process of hiring people. I feel like right now as well.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and that
Like
trickles.
shotgun, like what's a fucking
Well,
shotgun application?
AI is wrecking havoc on like both ends. You have
Really?
people like generating entire resumes and cover letters through AI, wasting a recruiter's time. And then you have recruiters and hiring teams using AI tools to filter people, and you definitely miss out on, you know, potentially qualified candidates if you are looking purely at an AI filter as well. So on both sides, people are not, you know, it's just not working right.
Perfect example of that is I I got a phone call asking about like my experience, right? Because like my resume is up on all the fucking normal places. I'm not gonna fucking pull that shit down ever. Fuck you if you want me to. Type of a deal. So I got this phone call and I'm talking with the recruiter lady and she's like super nice and she goes, I see on your resume that you know how to run a surface grinder. Is that like a Brown and Sharp's manual grinder? And like they just don't know anything about what they're trying to hire
Oh
for.
no,
And
bro.
like that's the type of people that are trying to talk to me about an incredibly like my niche is working with carbide and high speed transfer presses and tool steels. That is like what I do. And so I'm trying to market myself based off of my skill set in that because it's a very desirable and rare skill set to have. But recruiters don't know anything about that. You need someone that actually has done the job to look at that and go, oh, this is the type of person that we need to hire because if they're able to do it on manual equipment, when we have automated equipment, they can do the QC check because they understand the whole process and actually output a good die with the manual finishing that's required. You don't get that off of AI. It just wants to look for individual lock-in words. Like if, for example, Brown and Sharp is what the company is looking for, they're going to search for every resume that says Brown and Sharp. They're not going to search for surface grinding.
Huh. Damn. Okay, so that's interesting. I mean, it's funny. We almost hired an electrician, but he failed the Corey check because he had gun charges. Bro, you were trying to work in schools and you had gun charges that you went to jail for? What the
Jesus.
fuck? Like, what is happening here? It is just mind-boggling at this point. It is mind-boggling. But yeah, hiring is fun. I miss it. I miss being a part of the hiring process.
I don't want
I like
anything
it.
to do with it. So like I've been talking with my boss and everything, and because I've been like teaching myself how to do CAD and all that, they're starting to let me do tooling redesign and all that other fun stuff, and I'm getting called in to do like why won't this thing run on off shifts? So I'm getting a couple of bucks from that, and life is good, and yeah.
Hell yeah.
But I don't want to touch hiring. I'd rather touch every fucking mechanical problem under the sun than people problems.
I don't know. People problems are easy. You just fire them. I don't know. Maybe that's the wrong way to go
You know,
about
and
it.
so like that's another thing though. There's this weird like turnover culture that's developed after COVID, and I don't know if it's just my industry, but it sounds like everywhere just keeps hiring people. They work for like 3 to 6 months and then they're gone and then they do it
that's
again and again and again. And that wasn't the way it was
yeah.
before.
That's because jobs actually offered benefits that kept people around. Where I mean,
Yeah.
it's every job's a stepping stone. There's no such thing as a career job anymore because it's just like, okay, you're here for a little bit until you find something better. Many times have we had different issues where not us in our specific spot, but like, different parts around the town where people are like, oh yeah, I love this job. And then they get called from another job that they've been waiting on and they're offering $8 more an hour.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, no shit, they're not gonna hang around. Like, there's no reason to. And
Well,
it's just, I'm sure Graham's noticing it too. It's either they pay well and offer no benefits, or they offer benefits and don't pay shit. That's like, it seems like to be the thing across the board, at least for blue collar. I don't know necessarily white collar, but
I
just
mean,
from what I'm noticing.
like it's pretty standard. Like the pay for what my skill set is pretty standard across the board. Everything I've, pursued has roughly been in the same area, but like price wise, because I have the amount of years I have working with the tools that I have experience with and having management experience on top of that is very valuable. And I just at this point I'm not taking like a pay cut and staying in IT.
Yeah.
If I'm taking a pay cut, I'm doing something else just to do something else. I like IT. It's fun, but it's also stressful. It doesn't always align with like the things that I like want to be doing like on a day-to-day basis, and I'm not going to take less money doing that. If you're going to pay me more or the same amount, and it's going to be flexible hours and all this other stuff, and I have all these benefits for that, like to do what I want to do, which is, you know, talk about Jeeps and trucks and going on trips and doing all this stupid shit, like perfect. And if it can't do that, then it's not gonna. Then it either has to pay me a ton of money so I can just buy the fun stuff and take my vacation and, you know, have a blast, or I'm just not doing that. I don't know.
It's a good way of looking at it for sure, man. That's a great way of looking at it.
Yeah. At this point, it's.
Yeah, that's kind of become my fucking like. I used to really, really not like my job, and then like I've been looking at other shit, and it's like, oh, I'd love to go and work at a precision rifle manufacturer, or I'd love to go and make like ammunition, because if you're not aware, I'm massively into shooting.
Really?
So yeah, I'd love to go and do that, but it doesn't fucking pay well enough. And like I've been able to, you know, work myself into a position where unfortunately now I'm like the experienced dude on my side of the wall.
I know how that feels.
So like it's good and it's bad, but it's good because when I go up for my review, I can sit there and go, listen, I'm doing this, and this. This is what I expect out of you. That is not acceptable. I stay at a job for 5 years at the maximum. We're coming up on that time. You got a year and a half left. That's not going to fly. And they have to do something about it. Well, they don't have to do something about it, but they're doing stuff about it as a means of like trying to keep someone that like is able to redesign tooling. Because right now they don't have anyone that can do that. That's not 68 or 70.
Mm-hmm. I know that feeling.
Yeah, in those like, I feel like machining trades and just a lot of those sort of manufacturing fields, I feel like it's all old dudes who have just done it forever, and the company's like just running because the old dudes having a blast doing whatever the fuck they're doing. But as soon as
they're not
gone,
having
like,
a blast, they are all fucking suffering alcoholics. Let me fucking tell you.
Okay,
That's why I
either way, having a blast one way or another. And when they're gone, you know, everyone's screwed because nobody can do that job. That person's been there for 20 years.
Not necessarily screwed, but
no, I mean, nobody's ever screwed when somebody leaves a company. It's like you will always adapt, but at the same time,
you can have a clusterfuck. And so like we had this old guy who worked at my last job, super fucking knowledgeable dude. Excuse me, sorry about that. He was able to get one job running, and it was this like, I work in stamping, so you don't make a lot of money per part. So when I'm mentioning volume numbers and fucking all that shit here, bear with me. But it was $3.50 a part. The company would make fucking 50,000 of them a shift. He was the only guy that could consistently get that press to run 3 shifts, round the clock production, 5 days a week. They were paying that motherfucker $75 an hour when he left. So, like, it's just wild, some of the weird relationships that have been developed over the years and have to be adapted from. When he left, I ended up getting that job, and that particular job is what got me the $10 an hour raise that started the fucking Barry rebuild and the 1-ton project.
Hell yeah.
So,
that's awesome. But yeah, it's funny. But earlier when you were talking about having old guys and stuff like that in the shop, it reminded me of when we just hired our new guy. He came in, he sat down, and he starts talking to our other new guy who's like the oldest now, and he's talking with him. He's like, "Oh, so you've been here the longest?" And then he just points and looks over at me. He goes, No, he's been here the longest. I'm the youngest one." And I was just like, "What's up, dude?" It's just so funny. He had no idea that I've been there the longest, and I'm like, "Well, I've only been here for 4 years, but yeah, I've been here the longest. Like, what do you want to know?"
Dude, I've had that same shit happen too, and it's really funny when they hire someone that's been in the trade for a long time. and still struggle buses, so they have to go and find you to ask what the fuck to do.
Oh
It's
yeah,
great.
it is constant. And I was just telling you guys about how I had that meeting earlier, and they were like, "Oh, so how long have you been working?" And I was like, "Well, depends. You mean like in this field? Do you mean like 40 hours a week? Like what?" And they were like, "Oh no, just in general." And I was like, "Well, I started working at a horse barn when I was 13, doing like maintenance around the barn, this and that." And like they're like, "Wait, so you've been doing this since like 2012?" I'm like, "Yeah, pretty much." Like they're like, "So you have like 12 years of experience?" I'm like, "Yeah, pretty much." Like it's so funny when people like actually ask and learn.
I started my first apprenticeship in 2012.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome. And
So
it's
like,
hilarious.
yeah, so like I'm sitting here and I'm like, yep, I've got 12 years of experience. Everyone else was out and about doing whatever they were doing. I was going like after work and reworking dies at a shithole machine shop, and now I'm here. I don't know if that was the best trade ever, but I've got
Dude, I
12
think it's
years of
fantastic.
experience.
I think for like that wasn't even that huge of an industry back then too, which I think is like I would say like CNC tool and die became a huge thing like in 2015 2016 timeframe. So the fact that you got into it in 2012 is actually pretty
I'm
fucking sick. Like you got
actually a dinosaur. I don't do any CNC stuff other than some like basic pre-made programs. The
Mhm.
stuff I work on is over 200 years old was when it was invented. It's all manual, all fucking old school, like putting shims in punches to move them. No computers. The presses actually run off of like a heavy ass counterweight that just it's driven off a 50 horsepower engine. There is no. It's all mechanical. There's no
Wait, that's sick.
computers.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that. I thought you had like some like programming and shit like that. That's fucking cool.
The
What?
only programming on there is the we have safety sensors and trip sensors and lockout sensors. All that's ran off of a PLC, but the actual drive of the press is 100% old school mechanical reduction gears. We have massive cams that spin, like they're a 12-inch diameter cam that spins to move the parts that align the part with the die. They're 125-ton workload press. They're driven off of a camshaft that looks just like a crankshaft in a car. Or I guess it would be a crankshaft in a press too, but for some reason it's labeled as a camshaft. So like it looks just like your crank, except for there's only 2 lobes on it,
That's
and
cool.
they're in line. Yeah.
That's really fucking cool.
So I'm lucky because I work in such an ancient industry that no one fucking knows it, and because there's been a massive move towards bringing stuff back manufacturing wise, it's cheaper to stamp parts than it is to machine them, and they're stronger. And it's just been a massive fucking boon in a dead industry, and companies cannot handle it. It's wild. I love it. Anyways, enough about the fucking blue collar side of the Blue Collar Off-Road podcast, because I don't want to fucking talk about work. But the Jeep is probably going to end up getting thrown back together at some point in time soon, because I broke that axle shaft. I was able to find another stub, so I'm just gonna put the stub on it and go. I'm still doing the 35 splines before it goes seriously wheeling, but I just want it not broken.
I mean, it's always going to be broken. I mean,
I know,
I
but
don't
like
think there's ever a time.
a broken stub shaft, and I put the spare unit bearing in there, and I go buy the new unit bearings, machine them, and then just do the chromos. At least for now, it's movable. It's not. It won't have issues getting on the trailer. If I decide I want to just go wheeling for the weekend, I can still go. I'm gonna break it again, but that's a simple enough fix, and it doesn't. It's costing me like $25 to get the stub, so not
Damn, that
worried.
ain't bad.
Yeah,
That ain't bad at
I
all.
know it's gonna get fucking grenaded again, but
No, it won't. It'll be totally fine for sure.
it's
It'll
a
never
stock
break.
30 spline axle shaft. It's going to the fucking moon.
Oh no, it'll be fine. Come on now. You're crazy.
When
when I finally have time to actually put any love and attention towards my Jeep, it's gonna get. I want to do a lot to it, but it's not gonna happen.
It's gonna get dragged back out for another
It's
season.
gonna
Of
come
Please
back out
Let Me
as
Die.
it is. It's not gonna. It might. I don't. Like
Hey,
the timeline of.
What about the power steering, bro? Isn't that shit fucked?
It works. What are you talking about? It steers.
Does it? I thought there was a
Uh-huh.
no.
it steers.
What was
it
the issue?
steers.
There was some issue.
I
with
fixed it.
it.
I put a
Oh,
junkyard
winch.
pump in.
No, your winch was just overheating. Never mind.
Yeah,
you're
it's
right.
not gonna have a
was fine.
problem in the. It's not gonna have a problem, and only if I have to
Yeah.
winch, and it's red labels. And as long as I'm not at Field and Forest, I don't have to winch that much.
True. Until we go to
Trade me your winch. It'll be good.
No, I don't think mine would be. I think I only have a.
It would
What
work.
is that? 9,000 pound? What is that
Yeah.
one? It's not. I don't think it's a
Jeep's
12.
9.
I don't need a 12. The 12 probably would help me, honestly.
Yeah, fuck yeah! You got a heavy ass bitch, bro. It's a fucking boat anchor. When it's dead. Like,
Yeah, I need a
Yeah.
winch.
We probably
so-
need to use snatch blocks more than we actually do. If
I
we're
can
being
do some
honest
stats
here.
for sure. You're right.
Stop horny posting. on
someone,
Main.
someone go raffle me a winch, a nice worn winch that I can put in my bumper. I need to rebuild that stupid thing anyway, so it doesn't even have to
You
fit
need
in
to
the bumper.
rebuild
I
the
don't
whole
care.
fucking front end of the goddamn Jeep. It's held together by duct tape, hatred, and the fact that you won't let it die. Cody, you need to remake that fucking Colin meme that you made. I'm pretty sure that was you that made the meme of "I love you, please let me," or "Please let me
Oh,
die,
yeah.
I love
Yeah,
you." You
yeah,
need to
yeah.
remake that with fucking Graham's Jeep.
I could do it. I could do it. Especially the one with all the flat tires and everything. Like, just please let me die. let me see if there's a. I can do it right now. Give me a second.
Just because that was fucking classic when you first made it.
That was so long ago, dude. That was so long ago. Holy
You should
shit.
probably put another picture of the Jeep looking sad below it with just like, fuck. 'Cause we all know Graham's going to still be wheeling that in 2035, and there's not going to be anything left to it except like a small section of the roof that's like probably sheet metal screwed on in a
What are you
couple of
talking
places.
about? I got all
and
new body
welded.
panels. I could rebuild her.
I'm saying in 2035, after you've continued to beat on it, the only
Oh,
thing
and Cherokee parts
left.
are a rarity, and I complain because they're too expensive now.
Yeah.
And I can't find a silver header panel.
You
Yeah.
still haven't got one, have you?
I have two of them. One of them's
Oh,
like a
sick.
bootleg silver though, and the one I do have is I got one good one and
Graham,
one
it
bootleg
doesn't
one.
fucking matter. You're going to smash it in like
Yeah,
less
but I don't
than
want
an
to use
hour and a
bootleg
half.
as bootleg. It's the
Who
wrong
cares?
color.
It doesn't fucking matter.
It's
You're
some
going
fucking
to blow
Mako
it off.
respray. I want genuine Chrysler.
You're going to end up just watching it get crumpled.
I don't
because
care. I still want genuine Chrysler. I want to destroy the
Casey's going to
genuine
back
parts.
into it again, and then it's just going to be fucked. Speaking of
backing into
Casey,
it? Oh, Casey.
what the fuck, dude? Where's the Jeep? Anyways, hope
Oh.
you're doing well, bud.
Isn't he doing like family things now?
He is,
Isn't the
and
Jeep
he's
gonna
still
make
working
pieces?
on it.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
they
Last I saw, they were crumpling the bed back up.
Yeah, he just cut it up, and he's doing the rear forelink and bob and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
That thing needed it, so it's coming along. I'm just giving him shit because I want to see it back out on the trails because it's stupid and awesome.
Yep.
And he's a funny dude.
It's pretty valid.
But yeah. I don't know where I left off. I know we just kind of got sidetracked on my Jeep being shitty and not getting fixed. But I might fix it after I put a motor in a YJ. 4.0 is getting swapped into a
I don't believe it.
four-cylinder YJ. I have to do that
I'm not
after I
seeing
finish
it.
the Dodge. And then after that, I have
It'll
to
be
do...
wheeling season.
I know. After that, I have to help Ryan with a cage on the Bronco.
Yep.
So that's going to be my spring. And then it will be...
Helping Richie,
Then it'll
and then
be-
you also got Cody as well, and RJ maybe. I don't know what RJ's up to, but I'm
we
just
gotta
gonna
put his
go.
axles. We got to put his axles together this spring. I would have...
Yep.
It would have happened this winter, I think.
Well,
if-
don't. It's not public. Don't talk about his plan. I think we've already spoiled enough of it publicly, and he didn't want it to be public.
What plan?
With what
Yeah,
he's
don't
doing
worry
with the
about it.
axles. So yeah, don't worry about it.
I don't know. I just help him put them together if he wants it, and but I can't do that with the Dodge in there. Like it's just too much. It's too big. I could, with a YJ in there, it's a totally different story. I can't wait to have a small vehicle in there. I have no space in the fucking shop. The Dodge takes up all of it.
Yeah, the
All of
Dodge is a
it.
fucking train. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
There's
it
no
takes up-
space.
and there's no, like,
Is yours
everything
a
is
long
out of
bed?
it too. So all the shit is like around it or in the bed, and it just feels it's so claustrophobic. I hate it. But interior will go together hopefully this weekend. Almost in its entirety, because I have a little bit more sound deadening shit I'm gonna throw at it while I have everything apart. Because I don't want to take that shit off again if I don't have to. Dash and all that shit. And then it's just building the transmission. The initial goal is we're now back on track to sort that out. So that's gonna be more money, but at this point I just need it back together. So we're gonna bite the bullet and do all that. If somebody knows where a not fuck you expensive Dodge NV 4500 is in the meantime while I put the 6-speed together, I'd take that. I'll buy that from you right now. So hit me up.
Hey, Graham, in the future, I'll buy that from you if you do end up getting one.
Okay.
Uh,
I would like to find one because realistically, I can probably get one of those. Just the transmission for a fraction of what it's going to cost me to like do the 6-speed upright.
yeah, that makes sense.
So, I don't
I
know.
like the 6-speed a lot. I'm hoping someone eventually makes a 4-wheel drive tail housing adapter.
I'm pretty sure they do. I'm pretty sure LRG does. I don't know
Oh,
if it's
that's
like
sick.
public. I don't know if it's a public like thing you can go to their website and buy yet, but they're making cast iron tail housings and bell housings.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome.
Yep.
The reason I'm saying that is even if the truck dies, I'm pretty sure I can keep that fucking engine and transmission alive for a long fucking time.
Yep.
And I wouldn't mind having a 4-wheel drive transmission because if I ever have another vehicle that's going to get that drivetrain, it's going to be 4-wheel drive because it is fucking unbearable in the snow. And if I ever live anywhere that it's snowy again, I don't want to have to deal with that.
Now, I mean, does the frame allow for it? Like, is it like, is it
I'm
easy to
not
do it? Or
saying I'm not saying that it would end up in that truck even if but if there ever was a situation where like I had to pull the engine and transmission out, like say the truck gets rear-ended or something, and I want to move the drivetrain into something else, I'd like to have a 4-wheel drive availability for it.
no, that's understandable.
Yeah, I really like that truck. I'm leaving that truck basically alone, but eventually that truck is going to hit a point where there's going to be enough problems with it just because it's going to be an ancient Dodge that it's not going to be worth dealing with the body problems.
I don't know if you can just swap tail housings on them. I don't think you can. I think the main shaft is different.
Yeah, the main shaft is
You'd have to
different.
gut the whole thing. Now, granted, the main shafts, funny enough, aren't that expensive. It's like $400. Which like
Yeah, it would have to be a
it's
fucking-
expensive, but it's like not as expensive as I would have thought. Maybe a main shaft on a transmission they only made for
Dude,
how
they're
many years?
The amount of work that goes into making that type of shit's fucking asinine.
Yeah, for that and for $400 that seems cheap. I don't know what's going on with that, but yeah, that's what they cost. But
Either that or the other option would be, in my case, would be like a ZF6 or something.
ZF6s are cool. They actually
I-
have a like they cool themselves.
Yeah.
They've got like a pump, which is sick.
I think the ZF5 and ZF6s are a reasonably good fucking manual transmission that's not stupid hard to find, and they're just cool because if you wanted to adapt one to a Cummins, they're not hard. They make the plate for just about all of them.
Yep. No, I mean that's the biggest issue with the 5600 is the oiling. You know, they just never had enough from the factory. People overfill them, but then, you know, you still have issues. There's like, I feel like that's the case with any any item.
So are you not supposed to overfill them, or are you supposed to overfill them?
You are by like a quart.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yep.
Okay, cool. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't fucking myself, because I'm going to have to do that too. And on mine, it doesn't have the hole rewelded and moved up, so I have to do the whole pull the shifter thing.
What hole rewelded? What do you mean?
There was a factory, like, on the factory rebuilt transmissions from, like, Dodge, they would re-weld the hole higher, or they would weld up the old hole and put a new hole higher for the fill line.
Interesting. I'll have
At
to
least
look at
that's
that on
what
my case. That seems odd.
That's what the guy that he did transmissions for a long time, and he now rebuilds gearboxes for Duracell told me. He said he got out of doing transmissions just because he got sick of pulling shit out of cars. And I don't blame him, because his dad and him did a lot of diesel stuff. So, fuck, all of that shit is heavy.
Yep.
He might just be full of shit too, though. I don't fucking know. But it sounds believable, and
it sounds like a lot of work. But if it's a reman, I mean, there's a potential. I don't know.
Yeah, it was with the reman stuff and factory rebuilds. So.
Yeah, who knows? Doesn't seem unreasonable.
No, because correct me if I'm wrong, but the biggest problem was only was basically the oiling. It's not really like a horsepower or torque related problem with them.
Yeah, it's bearings let go if they don't get their oil. And the way the oiling loop and probably on a lot of transmissions, but especially on the 5600, because it just doesn't. The only way oil is getting to, I think, the main shaft output bearing, so like the far tail side of the
is through the shaft, right?
It's through like it's got to go through the front of the bell housing, because all that is integral. The case of the transmission is just like a shell. The actual transmission is like solidified on the ends, on the bell housing end and the tail housing end. So the oil comes up through the bell housing side. I don't remember exactly how, but it gets sloshed in and pushed through the main shaft, but it has to go up. So that's the biggest issue, is the oil has to go up. So if you have any issue with oil or oil flow or a blockage, you basically fuck your output bearing, which has a lot of shit going to it, and then you seize that to the main shaft. It's this whole thing, and you already need a 50-ton press to take that shit off. And it's, I've seen a lot of videos of, as I look into rebuilding my own, it's like I keep seeing videos of main bearings that are just seized, like glued to the shaft. And it's like, they're basically just letting the machine run to push the thing out until it pops and it just blows up a gear or whatever. It's scary. So, oiling's the biggest issue with those things.
Sick. So I'm going to put an extra quart in there. Life will be good.
Yep. The only issue you have by doing that, I think, is it can potentially leak out the tail, the tail shaft, but whatever. Just don't park it on a hill.
Yeah, it's easier said than done, but you ain't wrong.
Park the right way on the hill and you'll be fine.
Yep. Hey, Morgan, I have to turn the truck around here. I know it's a busy parking lot, but hey, have fun.
It's gonna leak all its oil out if I keep it here.
Yes. It's gonna leak out the extra quart that I'm trusting to get us to Connecticut back this year.
Oh my god.
Oh god. She's gonna end up hating that fucking truck by the time that we get back, dude. I'm so excited for that trip.
Nah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Well, I don't think you haven't seen the I'm telling you, the dashes on those things really aren't that hard to take out. And if yours isn't broken, it probably won't break. I did mine by myself and it didn't crack it any more than it was. I was impressed with myself. I thought for sure it was gonna just shatter. The Dodge, just to
yeah, but why do you have to, or why do I have to take the dash out?
Oh, so you can sound deaden the firewall crap on that, because it's all just garbage. It's trash.
Yeah, I have to replace the dash anyway, so I probably should do that, but I'm waiting to see how yours turns out, so that way I can be like, well, Graham did this, and like have a reasonable excuse.
There you go. Yeah. Here, let me show you. I'll send the picture in the chat here. I'll put it in the one of the public ones. Boom. So I have that. I have the butyl down, but I don't know if it's mass loaded vinyl or what it is that I'm gonna throw in back there because I don't have the factory foam. It was in a million pieces. The donor truck might have it. I have to go and confirm. It's unfortunately very far away. But I have to go throw a mattress out in Worcester anyways, so I'm gonna make the trip down to it to get some things anyways. But I might have a factory insert. But even if I do, I still think I may either strip the foam or add this stuff behind it because the factory stuff just isn't that great. And just try and make it a little quieter. The biggest thing is just no holes in the floor. It's already gonna remove a ton of sound that was previously transferring from the wheel wells and the engine and everything else.
Dude, and the fucking 5.9s are just fucking mechanically loud.
Oh yeah. No, I mean that's why I'm doing this, because I didn't want to leave it with nothing. Because that's what I had. I had no sound deadening when I pulled out that factory foam. That was all that was there. The engine bay shit I pulled out because it was falling apart. And then I had nothing on either end. It was just a tin, like a layer of fucking sheet metal. It wasn't gonna help. So I'm hoping with this another layer of shit, and then I'm gonna put some. I have a good firewall insulation pad from the other truck that I'm gonna try and save. If not, I have some other foam I'm gonna use, and just try to get it as relatively quiet. It's not gonna be quiet, but it will be quieter than it would be if I did nothing. So we'll see. I just don't want to have to go through this again. That was my thing, is I don't want to have to take the dash out multiple times because it is too loud. But we'll see.
I'm glad to hear that pulling the dash is not that terrible, though.
It's no different than like the Cherokees. You just unplug all the shit from the dash through the firewall, and then you take the 5 bolts off the top, and then you take the 2 bolts off the side, and the middle bolt off the transmission tunnel, and just pops right out.
Sick. That makes a lot of sense to do like that too, because that way you can just get everything all lined out and then replug everything as needed.
Yeah, I mean, there's not many plugs that I think it's plugs on both sides. You have a lot of plugs in the driver, like footwell, firewall area.
Yeah, that whole area is a cluster.
I think there's like 4 or 5 on the passenger side, maybe, and then you're free. And then the airbag stuff's all right in the middle of the dash by the base, so that just has to come. I just unbolted it, took it with it, and then
makes putting the pedals in a lot easier.
Oh yeah, I mean that was part of it too. Is doing the floor pans the way they went up the firewall. I kind of needed to take it all out, and I was like, well, if I'm gonna do that, I'm not gonna fight it because there's foam and shit, and I have to take the pedal assembly apart anyways to put it together correctly. And yeah, so.
Well, I'm excited to see it turn out well, though. Like, I'm excited to see the final product and see.
I am too.
Driving it again, man.
I'm so done not driving it. I need to. With the J20 being the J20, that thing I dislike AMC 360s more and more each day. I'm sure you can watch like the progression of me hating this motor more and more as I
it's through the hilarious.
Because it's just nothing. It can't disappoint me anymore. It just continues to disappoint, and
that's how I feel about 4-liters.
I'm tired of it. It's not a bad motor, but they're just such a pain in the ass for no reason. There's like no reason to put yourself through the suffering that an AMC 360 will give you. At least this one, I don't know why it's just
this bad. I know why it's this bad. But I'm just. It's
got so much blow by. It's like it'll blow the oil. It's blowing oil out of the dipstick. It blows oil out of the valve covers because of just there's so much crankcase pressure. It's blowing it out of the oil fill tube, which is on the intake, so that's right in front of everything. It just douses everything in oil. And there's just no fixing it. Like, I don't even know where, if anything's leaking, because it's just oil everywhere from massive blow-by on top of everything else it has going on. So,
can you put like a catch can or something on it to help alleviate or get it to flow better?
Well, I could if the valve covers had a vent, but they're aftermarket and they don't have a vent, and I'm tired of spending money. And I could drill a hole.
Vent in.
I could just drill a hole. And I don't know. Maybe that's the play. I'm not opposed to it at this point.
Right now, it sounds like you're just suffering. It doesn't sound like...
I just don't care. I'm just gonna let it leak. It got a new oil pressure gauge. I put a new filter on it because the filter that was on it was crushed because the other filter I bought didn't thread on. It was the same part number. There was a machining error, I'm convinced, in the other filter. I couldn't put my new filter on. I had to put my junky, shitty filter back on it after I rebuilt the motor. So that, just stupid. So, but it was okay because I ripped the oil sensor pin off the oil pressure sensor for the plug to plug in. It was literally just like a spade connector, like male to female, with a little plastic, like rubbery
retainer tab
thing, and I just tried to push it on and it just broke. So I was like, okay, so for startup we don't get to know the oil pressure. It's a surprise.
Oh god.
If it's not knocking, it's okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. That's what I figured. And it has like multiple sensors. It's got a switch and a sensor. So I figured if things were really bad, the switch will do something on the dash. It didn't, so must not have been that bad. But yeah, I'm just done with it. I don't know. I have that 5.3. If I had space in the shop, that thing might already be in the J20. But I'm for now we're stuck with each other. But at some point here, that thing's getting fucking yeeted into the China spoon pile. Piece of junk.
LS the world.
Nah, maybe I find something stupid. I'll make Jacob find me like a 460 or Ford or something. Oh, wait, I already have one. I have the RV motor. I could put that in there.
Oh no! Please stop! Stop it! Stop it!
That thing would rip though. I don't want to hear it. And it's EFI. Technically,
Legend 12 valve swapping the fucking.
That'd be cool too.
You already hate Cummins noises. Now you want to make the RV Cummins noises too? Oh my god!
I thought we were talking about.
Oh no, the RV Cummins noises would be sick. No, the real play with the RV is to just find a cabin chassis body, and then take the RV component and put it on. We talked about this, and then you can just tow behind the cabin chassis. And it's an RV, so I could tow an excavator behind it, and nobody would care.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure.
Keep it under 2,600 or 26,000. I'm sorry, and you might be okay.
No, it's an RV. It's an RV. There are no rules.
No,
you didn't know that?
I'm not. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there are no rules.
I've just had a.
He's actually not wrong. RVs have like this. You can do whatever the fuck you want. It's ridiculous.
I've got a bumper pole, and that's all that I've ever cared about because, like, medium-duty trucks are big and stupid, and you can't drive one every day.
Like, baller haulers are classified as RVs, and people without CDLs can drive them. Like, full, like,
yeah,
proper,
I knew about
like,
that. I
haulers.
just didn't know if it was...
That's sick.
I know.
I want to buy one so bad. Like, how much do those cost?
Oh, easy $500,000, like, for a nice one.
All right, everyone start pitching in.
No. You know what you need to do? You were talking about this AI that these companies can use. Just create an AI that actually works.
No, AI is for fucking babies. I'm so tired of AI. I don't want to use AI.
Dude,
if everyone just donates $5 to my personal Patreon, we can make this a reality, and we can all just travel
Yes,
the
Joe
country.
Pigs.
Do
as a
it
baller
in a
hauler.
way that you actually have to put the money into your bank account so that way the IRS can track it. No, mail him $5.
Yeah, please
So that
mail
way
me
it's
$5. No, that's through the government too, though.
okay. So you
UPS,
need to hand Graham
USPS.
$5 so he can pay in
You need
cash
to
for a
drive
baller
up to
hauler.
me. I'll designate a drop-off location and provide $5, and then we will visit you in the baller hauler.
Let's go.
That's not going to end up.
Oh no, it's like a timeshare. It's like a timeshare. Depending on how much you put in,
Mm.
you get a timeshare for the baller hauler. But if you only get $5, that means you get to stay in it while you drink a beer. Then you got to get the fuck out. But it's we really do appreciate your generous donation.
Dude, those setups are cool as fuck, though.
Oh yeah, it's badass for sure.
Just, I don't know anything about them. I knew that you could buy like the old medium duties and convert them to RVs, and like you could do that with school buses and shit like that, and that they were slightly freer on some of the restrictions because they're being used for like a camping vehicle and all that shit, but I didn't know how far you could go with it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you can go fucking crazy.
I don't. It's really getting to a point where, if I continue to be unemployed and I have all my ducks in a row with like the truck and everything else, I might just go and get my CDL so I don't have to deal with thinking about that anymore. You have to worry about what's too heavy or not heavy enough, or what you can tow or what you can't tow, or what you can drive or
I'm
can't
pretty
drive.
sure that a CDL just makes all of that worse.
I don't think it does.
It does.
Why
Yeah,
would that
because
make it
now you have
worse?
to like
Because now you
actually
have to
care
follow the
about.
rules.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you are now fully bound to the rules. You don't get to look at the weight station and go, "Yeah, that's a weight station, huh?"
Mm-hmm. You're like, I
And
feel like I never see those open. Like, no, if you see it open, you have to pull in. And like, if you put mouthwash in before you drive, like you have to wait. Like, it's a whole thing.
yeah, it's CDL restrictions are stupid. Really complicated.
Hmm.
So,
I don't know. That seems wrong, but I can't argue because I don't know enough about it. So
yeah, you just my take on it is you're going to end up having to spend so much time caring about what you're particularly driving, all that other fun stuff, and maintaining the CDL that, like, unless you're doing it for work, it doesn't seem worth it to me.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we've rambled on for a long ass time. We went way longer than we thought we were going to. How are we feeling on this?
I've got one weird thing because we've touched on a bunch of machining stuff. If you guys want to go down a rabbit hole, we can go down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, fuck it.
So, as everyone's already heard, with the Morgan and myself getting engaged, she got an engagement ring. I've decided that I'm going to hand build a Kalashnikov as a fun little treat. And let me tell you, I have learned a fuck ton about that shit, and they are the weirdest motherfucking gun I have ever seen. The whole receiver contracts and expands under firing, and so you have to indent the rivets to actually get it to hold together. Otherwise, it just cracks apart, and you have a 40,000 psi explosion in your face.
Huh? You have to what does that even mean?
You have to
indent the rivet.
So when you're making a rivet, you have to dimple the rivet. So the sheet metal where it gets riveted together is dimpled and sits up against the parts it is riveted to, and then you use a fuck ton of force on I think they're a 4mm rivet, so like call it 1/8 of an inch, and you literally compress the rivet material down into the dimple to form more surface area. So I just thought that was kind of fucking cool, and I get to go running around saying that I built my own AK-102 because I wanted to build an AK-102 in 5.56 because it's just stupid and a basket case, and I love them.
What did that have to do with the engagement ring, by the way?
She got an engagement ring that was expensive, so I'm
He gets
building.
a gun.
Yeah, I get a
Okay, I understand now. I thought you were saying you're building this for her as an engagement ring, and I was like,
No.
I don't think she could carry that on her finger, but it would ward off other men, so that's kind of cool. I second this.
No, she
Like-
got the engagement ring. I'm getting ready for the competition season because I'm going to be missing. It's looking like 2 to 3 planned local wheeling trips because I will be in South Carolina shooting a match, and then I'm going down to Georgia to shoot a match this year. I bought tickets and all that, so I'm getting ready for that.
Hell yeah.
So maybe at that point in time, if y'all want to hear about that experience, I'll bring it back up then. But I just thought it was kind of cool and like a weirdly related to all the machining stuff that we've talked about today. Little bit of learning.
Fuck yeah, that's awesome. Well, excited for your new adventure on that. That'll be a fun one.
Yeah, well. But on that note, guys, the world's constantly going to be changing, and the best thing that you can do would be to hit up Crawler Off-Road with the code BCOP10 to save you 10% off at checkout. And, you know, as things do actually change, because that was partially tongue-in-cheek, the best thing that you can do is look forward and try and adapt to it. Sometimes things that happen are blessings and curses at the same time, and you just got to weigh your options and keep on.
Maybe AI is going to steal your job, but then you'll get a better job. So
hell yeah.
Yep. And have a good night. We will be back next week. Take it easy, guys and girls.